everyone. Here's what's coming up tonight on News Center Now. Do you ever have to show ID when you're entering a bar or maybe at the grocery store trying to check out what's in alcohol and maybe they scan your ID? We're finding out where that information goes.
Plus, the things kids are creating in robotics classes these days will blow you away. Tonight we meet Bert, the Bonnie Eagle robotics team. It's pretty amazing what they're accomplishing. This is News Center Now.
And good evening, everybody. Happy Friday. I'm Lee Nelson.
And I'm Lindsay Mills. Protecting our personal information, it's a top priority.
Yeah. Our driver's licenses contain details like our age, where we live. You might have had your ID scanned when you're trying to buy alcohol or tobacco products. But what happens to that information?
We verified, and what we found is a heads up for consumers.
I don't have anything to hide. I just value my privacy.
For Jeff Needham, that means protecting information about his age and personal address, information on a typical driver's license. He says he understands the point of checking an ID.
I'm wondering why businesses need to scan my driver's license when I purchase some beer.
He also asks, do businesses need permission to scan our IDs?
That's a policy question for the business.
In Maine, businesses can scan an ID.
If I was running a business and was interested in marketing, that would be a great way to get that information.
By law, though, businesses cannot save that data to build a customer database.
The law explicitly forbids copying a license, which is essentially what that would be. And this is something that the legislature struggled with a little bit because, you know, people make copies of licenses to close a mortgage, rent a car, etc. And they've been doing some work on that, but the basic premise of the statute is to protect the privacy of the driver.
Bar club stats.
But Needham raises another question. What if bars or clubs use apps to scan and check those IDs? We called the folks behind the ID scanning app Bar and Club Stats, based in Brooklyn, New York.
Hey, my name is Lindsay Mills. I'm calling from the NBC affiliate in Portland, Maine.
We wanted to know, does this app keep the information that's collected from a scan?
It can. It's up to the user to change their privacy settings, so if they don't want to, they don't have to.
Something to keep in mind the next time you're asked to show some ID. And some businesses say they scan IDs when customers are purchasing alcohol or tobacco products because it's faster and more accurate. The information at Hannaford, for example, doesn't appear for the cashier to see. All they see is if someone is of legal age or not. So they're not storing that information.
Okay.
Some peace of mind.
Phew.
Yes.
Right.
You have to wonder. When we saw that question come in, I thought,
of course you do.
Geez, how have I never thought of this before?
Yeah. And even when, and so many companies say, no, you're perfectly safe, and then they get hacked. So it's worthy of questioning time and time again.
Definitely. We're questioning this forecast because 1 minute it's dreary,
yes,
and then we're getting little bursts of sunshine.
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad this afternoon. Fun story, by the way, I started getting carded again after I shaved my beard, which is like fantastic because I'm not even in the ballpark. But I think what is it in Maine? It's like if you look like you're under 35, there's some sign like that.
Yeah, I think it's under 45.
Oh, I was excited. Thanks,
well,
Lindsay.
Then I should be carded regularly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Lindsay has nothing to say to that. Okay, let's go take a look at the radar. Got a couple of showers. That was that kind of silence that's like as brutal a burn as Lindsay will ever give you. So showers and storms down across parts of Vermont and New Hampshire. We got the showers through a little earlier than anticipated. I was surprised, honestly, to see it raining at 6 o'clock this morning. However, that meant the showers could move out. Now we're clearing and drying behind it, and the rest of tonight looks pretty good. You can see the clear skies back across Vermont and a little bit into western Maine. We've seen some breaks, some holes in the cloud cover. That will be tomorrow, partly cloudy and a much nicer day. Current temperatures all over the place. 60 in Sanford, 62 in Portsmouth. Areas that didn't see any sunshine though, Greenville at 48, 53 in Millinocket. All of these temps are below average for this time of the year. So any scattered shower or thunderstorm comes through by 8, 9 o'clock tonight. After that, we are partly cloudy, and that's kind of how tomorrow is. I hesitate to say it's mostly sunny because I do think there'll be more clouds over northern and down east Maine, but a good amount of sunshine around, temperatures into the mid 60s. And then Sunday, guys, is a split state forecast, but I think the first day in a long time on Monday that we have widespread 70s and maybe some low 80s. So we'll talk about that in some more detail.
Sounds good, Keith. Thanks. The United States has agreed to remove steel and aluminum tariffs on Canadian products in what was a key roadblock to a new trade deal and a score point in relations. Canada, in turn, has agreed to scrap the tariffs it imposed in retaliation. In a joint statement on Friday, the two countries said they have agreed to eliminate the tariffs within 48 hours. That was today. Sources in the U.S. and Canada say the Trump administration also has reached a deal to remove steel and aluminum tariffs from Mexico.
The state of Missouri's Republican-led legislature has approved a ban on abortions at 8 weeks of pregnancy, and Governor Mike Parson is expected to sign this. House lawmakers gave this sweeping abortion bill final approval earlier today. It it allows exceptions only in medical emergencies, but not in cases of rape or incest, so it does not go quite as far as the new anti-abortion law in Alabama.
House Democrats have approved a sweeping anti-discrimination bill that would extend civil rights protections to LGBTQ people by prohibiting discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender identity. A similar bill in the Senate faces long odds in the Republican-controlled chamber. President Trump is widely expected to veto the legislation if it does reach his desk. Well, this may not come as too much of a surprise for some. Teens who own promotional material for e-cigarette companies or makers are more likely to try e-cigarettes.
All right, Stanford researchers followed more than 750 teens in California for a year who had never used any alternative tobacco products, okay? But the teens who owned items promoting these products were twice as likely to start using them. This is compared to their peers who didn't have any of the promotional items, you know, things like coupons or samples or branded clothing. The scientists say the findings do suggest the FDA should do more to further restrict these marketing techniques when it comes to teenagers. Boeing is one step closer maybe to getting its 737 MAX planes flying once again.
The company says it has completed a software update for its grounded 737 MAX planes. So far, Boeing says it has tested the new system on more than 200 flights, and it has provided updated training materials for those pilots. Boeing must get approval from the FAA before it can be cleared to return to commercial service. The 737 MAX jetliners were taken out of service worldwide back in March after 2 deadly crashes that happened in less than 5 months. The much anticipated wait for Samsung's Galaxy Fold smartphone might soon be over.
Yeah, it's been back and forth, right? According to a newspaper in South Korea, Samsung has solved the issues with this foldable screen that slowed the initial launch. The Galaxy Fold was scheduled to be released last month, and they did accept a lot of pre-orders, but then they had to postpone the whole thing indefinitely because of device failures in some of the tests. Samsung has reportedly started testing the redesigned model, and they're expected to announce the new release date in the coming weeks. So if this is something you want, you'll find out soon. All right, coming up, get your home buying questions ready because John Paradise from the Town and Country Federal Credit Union is here to answer them.
And a group of high school students getting to show off their love for STEM in front of the entire world.
All right, it's something we were just talking about not so long ago on this show, high demand, low inventory when it comes to the real estate market, especially in southern Maine.
Spring, summer, busy times for people all over on the move. John Paradise from Town and Country Federal Credit Union is here to help us navigate the home search. John, thanks for being here. What if you're a first-time home buyer and the idea of a mortgage seems to be overwhelming?
Well, you know, it can be overwhelming when you think about, you know, big life moments. Buying a home, that's just about as big as you can get as far as financial, with a loan, etc. I mean, kids are another big life changer, and that's something you really can't take a loan out for the remainder of your life. But you know, I think people need to approach it as this is a big purchase. They need to do their homework, and they need to do preparation. And if they do that, you know, it can be a little bit less overwhelming because it can also be a very exciting time.
I know you want to talk a little bit about home buying seminars that exist. When I hear about this, I think, uh-oh, somebody's going to try and make me buy a timeshare or something.
Right.
But that's not what these are, right?
That's not what they are.
Okay.
Town and Country and a lot of other financial institutions have home buying seminars for people just to educate them about the process. There's not a realtor standing by, and there's not a timeshare to be sold. It's strictly a Q&A, an education. The more knowledge you get, especially when you're buying a home, it's power. And you can become an educated consumer and know what you're looking for, know what's out there, and know what questions you should ask. And that's what the home buying seminars, which are all free, offer.
And easy to find info on the web.
Very easy to find on the web, all over the place. And we're entering really prime home buyer seminar season.
What are some housing alternatives for folks who are considering all their options?
I think, and you mentioned, can it be overwhelming? Yes. Home buying itself is overwhelming, but I think people sometimes get locked in a box that they have to buy a house with a white picket fence and nothing else will do, and then they get frustrated, and then they start thinking, I'm never going to be able to afford anything different. There are a lot of alternatives. There's Tiny Homes of Maine. We work very closely with them to finance some tiny homes. There's manufactured housing. There are condos. There are townhouses. There are a lot of different alternatives other than the white picket fence and the cape that a lot of people want and a lot of people will pursue. So you don't be locked in, and don't get discouraged if maybe that dream that people tell you should have isn't a reality.
Plus, you have to paint that fence every 5 years or so.
You sure do.
It's overrated.
You sure do.
John, thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Very
Appreciate
much,
it.
as always. We're going to continue some conversation on Facebook too. About
Yes,
this too.
we'll take your questions on Facebook Live right now. In the meantime, coming up, Uber is making changes to the way drivers and riders interact.
Yes, and we will interact with Keith as well.
107.
Earlier this week, we talked about the huge demand for people with STEM degrees, in other words, degrees in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. For one group of high schoolers in Maine, though, they are joining other schools' robotics teams. They've truly solidified their love for STEM and have given them an opportunity to expand on their skills before heading off to college.
Yeah, and as our Samantha York shows us tonight, clubs like this have the power to bring learning and fun together, and it gives students a real chance to show off their work at competitions all around the country.
Welcome to a place where ideas come to life and the people who make it all possible.
It really is a program for everyone.
They're the Bonnie Eagle Robotics team, better known as BERT, a group of students combining their love for science and technology with a little friendly competition.
This year's robot is named Wally.
Wally is the newest addition to the team and was built entirely by the people in this room.
We design everything from scratch.
We all work on prototypes, build things out of like wood and wood screws. And we take whatever comes out the best from that, and we use computer-aided design software to like make it into something real, make it into a final product.
This final product led the team to victory at Worlds in Detroit last month, a competition where robotics teams from across the country put their creations to the test.
The robot had to pick up hatch panels and pick up the cargo. We would lower this wrist and it would come down and pick up the orange kickballs, and it would get sucked right into here, and then we would place them into the cargo ship. And then one of the coolest features is down in the bottom here we have our climber. So there'd be 3 tiers of levels to be able to climb. You'd have your first platform, your second platform, and your third platform.
While taking home the trophy is always a plus, these students say they always walk away from a competition with much more than hardware.
Everyone competes really hard against one another, but if someone needs help, they will lend a hand. It's really amazing. That's my favorite part about the program.
A program teaching this team about embracing creativity, unexpected friendships, and the power of teamwork, all while having a few laughs along the way. In Buxton, Samantha York, News Center, Maine.
By the way, this was the first time Burt has placed first in their division at Worlds. To learn more about the team and what is next for them, probably a lot, just head to our website and mobile app. So congrats.
I don't know how they do what they do. It
No,
really is
no,
amazing.
it's beyond me.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And Keith will say he knows. But
No, I don't know. I just downloaded our mobile app though, so that's big.
Excellent.
So now our digital manager can be happy.
Is it working for you?
I didn't say I've used it. I have downloaded it though.
Okay, good.
I think it probably works pretty good. Then
Baby
when Liam sends me push alerts, I'll know what's going on.
Alerts, yeah.
All right, let's have a look outside. We had some rain this morning, ended up with a little bit of sun in the afternoon. Now we're popping up a couple of showers and even some thunderstorms back to the west. It's that convective kind of atmosphere. That's something you're going to see over the next few days where the sun will be self-destructive. We'll see it again on Sunday and Monday. So there are those showers and storms in through New Hampshire and Vermont. And I bet when they come out into western Maine, they'll be a little bit feisty coming through, perhaps with some small hail. Most of us, though, got most of the rain through in the morning. It was 6 hours faster than modeled, so that threw some people off a bit. But we did get a nicer afternoon as a result, and you can see some clearing here and through western Maine, New Hampshire, and northern parts of Vermont. So temperatures are really skyrocketing where there's been sun. Lebanon coming in at 70, meanwhile into the 50s and 40s for most of Maine, but the sun is apparent in Sanford and Portsmouth and Concord. So this is the time of the year where anytime you look at a temperature map, I could tell you what the satellite looks like from that temperature map because of the holes in the cloud cover, meaning that much of a temperature increase. Tonight, a chance for that shower or thunderstorm early, but we get them offshore by midnight. And then after that, it's pretty quiet through tomorrow. Again, for some of us along the coastline, it'll be mostly sunny. But to be fair to the rest of the state, I'd call it partly cloudy because there will be some cloud cover over northern Maine and parts of down east Maine, especially early in the day. Overnight is pretty clear on Saturday night. And then Sunday, here comes the front. It's going to work towards us. And I think Sunday is a relatively cloudy day, but it's also pretty mild. And so this is a situation where if you've got something to do in western Maine or New Hampshire, do it because it'll be a different day there. It'll be in the mid and even upper 70s compared to 50s and 60s across central and northern Maine. But not a bad day nonetheless. It's just the best part of it will be down across New Hampshire. So here is another warm day after that. Monday is probably the warmest day statewide. 70s, some 80s in Sanford, Freiburg, 79 in Lewiston. And so I will do the kiss of death here and Lee, and I'm going to get my air conditioner out of storage. So that means that it's now going to be 30 degrees for the rest of the day.
That's like the snowblower rule, too.
Let me also
just
say, though, that I'm kind of a baby about heat. Even though I lived in the South for a while, we had central air conditioning. And I'm not one of those people who can sleep. If it gets above probably 83, 84 during the day, I want air conditioning in the bedroom. That night. So, and not everybody's like that. Some people love just the breeze and but I'm not that guy. So I think we'll get to that threshold.
We never thought you were that guy.
Yeah. the top rumble. Shocking, isn't it?
Shocking. I'll take that as a good sign that our meteorologist is getting the AC.
Yes. Oh, it's a great sign.
Yep.
Or it's a jinx. We shall see. I think he was kind of hinting it was a jinx.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. All right, Keith. Thanks a lot. Hey, I don't know if we're supposed to celebrate this or not. It doesn't seem celebratory, but anyway, Maine is the 32nd best state in the country. Down 10 spots from its 2018 position. This is in U.S. News and World Report. They, every year, rank the best states.
Sure. The top 5 this year are Washington State, New Hampshire, where Keith suggested we all go this weekend, Minnesota, Utah, and Vermont. The best category for the Pine Tree State was Crime and Corrections. That's a 3rd place finish. Maine's worst category, Infrastructure, ranking 42nd. You can see the full report at our website and mobile app.
So if we just fix all the potholes, we'll be all set. We'll go way up.
Exactly.
Okay, good.
We'll be cruising.
Good.
Question for you. When you're riding in a ride share, Uber or Lyft, do you like to talk to the driver? Do you like to be quiet?
It depends on my mood, I would say.
It does?
Yeah.
I like to ride in silence.
Okay.
Clay does not.
Okay.
So this story has us divided. Uber has just rolled out some new enhanced features for premium Uber rides.
Okay. So the rideshare company has introduced the new quiet mode for Uber Black and Uber Black SUV. Riders can choose between quiet preferred or happy to chat or no preference. The driver will receive an alert ahead of time, so he or she knows if you're in the mood to talk or if you just want to be quiet. Other features riders can pre-select include help with luggage, temperature control, extended pickup periods, too, for unexpected delays. That could help at the airport sometimes.
Definitely
So,
could.
All right, good. And we have some sad news, too. Internet, and I don't know why I smirk when I say that. That's probably inappropriate, but internet celebrity Grumpy Cat, the face of countless memes, has died.
It's because Grumpy Cat used to make us smile.
Yes, that is why.
Her owner is confirming her death at the age of 7 on Twitter today. The announcement on the official Grumpy Cat Twitter account said she died Tuesday due to complications from a recent urinary tract infection. Grumpy the cat, whose real name was Tartar Sauce, shot to fame in 2012 thanks to her permanent frown, apparently signaling displeasure at anything and everything. The cat's unusual appearance was due to an unusual combination of an underbite and feline dwarfism, a form of genetic mutation. I didn't know that.
I don't either. I'm sorry that I'm laughing. I know it's inappropriate. I get it.
Grumpy
I
Cat,
get it.
We're laughing for the smile, or for
right,
memories.
right.
The good memories.
Cindy is here to save us.
Yes.
I'm not. I'm laughing too.
Oh, okay.
Although Tartar Sauce, I just think
That's a great
that's
name.
an even better name.
Yes.
Maybe it was her stripper name or something. Sorry. We got a lot more news coming up on News Center at 5:30. We are talking about the school bus shortage of drivers. We're having a really hard time finding people willing to get behind the wheel and take kids to school. And a big part of that is people don't want a job that just lasts 9 months. Well, a state senator thinks he's come up with a solution that will make more people sign on. Deep fakes and disinformation, both are terms for types of posts designed and disseminated to deceive people, and boy do they ever. We're going to take a look at advancements in these methods of clouding the truth and what it could mean for the 2020 election. That's all ahead on News Center at 5:30. Back to you.
Crazy to hear those words already.
Yes.
I know.
2020 election. Stick with us. Brain drops when we come back.
Okay, so a lot of people have asked me this, and I thought it was interesting. You know, what's the latest we've gotten to 70? So when will the first 70-degree day in Portland be, and what was the latest? Well, you have a short memory because we already got to 70 in Portland.
Was that in February,
so
though?
People, we did have one in February, but we also had one on April 13th. So cross that off the list.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next one. 80 degrees.
Okay.
That we are still waiting for.
Okay.
But the record is very late. It is June 29th in 1958, which means that to even think about, is this taking a record amount of time for us to be warm?
Not really.
We're not even really in the
No.
ballpark. I mean, what's today, the 16th or 17th or something? So, I mean, we've got a while to go. And I hope we don't break that record. And I, in fact, think we have a chance on Monday. But it's a perspective. It's pretty terrible around here this time of the year. It's just that we've been cloudier than average. I think that's the real key to this. But
Gotcha.
we shall get there. It's not
Eventually.
that unusual.
Okay. Sounds good. News Center Maine at 5:30 starts right now.